we are going to type in header and the class of calendar navigation. Alright. And then we will use the display flex. After that, we're gonna take the header again and use the calendar navigation once again, and then take all the span elements inside of this calendar navigation. So the height will be 38 pixels, the same goes for the width. Margin will be 0 by 1 pixel. The cursor will be a pointer. Text align center. Border radius will be 50%. The line height will be 38 pixels. User select none. Color AEA BAB. And the font size will be 1.5 rem, same as 190%. So yeah, there we go. Now we got these buttons and the mouse changes into a cursor. Alright, after that we are going to select the calendar navigation and the span with the last child. So let's take the calendar navigation and span last child. Margin right minus 10 pixels. That's gonna be it for that one. And then we'll take the header, the calendar navigation, span, and the hover pseudo class. We'll set the background to be F2, 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 like that. Then header and the class calendar current date. This will have a font weight of 500, which is normal, and the font size 1.45 rem, 145%. Alright, so we take the paragraph and there we go. Alright, after this one we're gonna select the calendar body and add some padding of 20 pixels. After the calendar body, we'll select the calendar body again and all the list items inside. The list style will be none. The flex wrap will be wrap. Display will be flex and text alignment center. There we go. And not the list items, by the way, we gotta select the unordered list. Okay, now it looks like that. Then we are going to take the calendar body as well as the calendar dates. And we're gonna make margin dash bottom 20 pixels. There we go. Then we're gonna take the calendar body once again and the list items this time. The width is going to be calculated, so 100% divided by 7. And then the font size will be 1.07 rem and the color will be 414141. Okay, there we go with that. Then we're gonna take the calendar body again with the calendar weekdays. So calendar body, calendar weekdays, and then we will select all the list items. The cursor will be default. Font weight will be 500, the normal. After that, we'll take the calendar body and calendar dates and all the list items. The margin top will be 30 pixels. Positioning will be relative. The Z index is going to be 1 and cursor will be a pointer. So right now we are doing this. We already did this. Okay. So yeah, after this we are going to take the calendar dates and the list dot inactive. We'll set the color to be AAA, and then I'm gonna copy this, and this time we're gonna take the active and the color will be FFF. There we go. And once we have done this, we are going to take the calendar dates, access the list and the before pseudo class. The position will be absolute this time. Content, empty string, Z index will be -1. Top will be 50%. Alright, 50%, there we go. Then the left will be the same, and the width and height will be 40 pixels, there we go. Border radius is going to be 50%, and transform, translate, -50% and -50%. There we go. Alright, we have two more things to do. So the calendar dates, the list, active, and the before pseudo class. The background is going to be 633 2C5. Then calendar dates, list, and not active, and hover before. Okay, that's a pretty complex line, but basically we are selecting the list items inside of the calendar dates class that are not in the active state but are being hovered over, and the before pseudo class, and then we'll set the background to be E4, E1, E1. There we go. So this is what it looks like right now. Alright. Now we're gonna move on to the JavaScript. So, we gotta create a date. So, let date equals new date, brackets and semicolon. Then let year equals date.get full year. Oh yeah, and brackets onto this one as well. Let month equals date.get month, and brackets and semicolon. There we go. Then we'll declare a constant variable of day, and the day will be document.querySelector, and we are selecting the class calendar dates. Okay, and then const current date equals document.querySelector. We're gonna take the class calendar, navigation, and the span elements. So yeah, Then we gotta create an array of the months. So const months equals an array. So I'm gonna scroll down. The first value is gonna be January, a comma, February, March, April, May, then June, July, August, September, October, November, and December. There we go. And the last one doesn't need a comma, but if you add it there, it doesn't break the program. Alright, there we go. Now that we got these, we gotta create a function to generate the calendar. So, let's create a const manipulate equals. I'm gonna use an arrow function. So do this. First we will get the first day of the month. Let day 1 equals new date. We will take the year, month, and day number 1. And use the .getDay method. Okay, then we gotta take the last date of the month. So let last date equals new date, year, month, and then plus month plus 1, 0, and get date this time. Alright, then we gotta get the day of the last date of the month. So let day end equals new date. Inside we'll put year, month, and the last date variable that we just created, and use the getDay method. There we go. Then we gotta get the last date of the previous month. So let month last date equals new date, year, month, 0, and use the getDate method. Alright, so we got these 4 ones right now. Then we gotta create a variable, and this variable will store the generated calendar HTML. So let lit equals an empty string for now, and then we gotta loop through to add the last dates of the previous month. So we are going to create a for loop. So for let I equals the variable day 1. That's the first. And then when the I is smaller than 0, we will decrement it. Not increment, but decrement this time. Then lit plus equals, and I'm gonna use a template literal. So we are going to create a list item with the class of inactive. There we go, and then we are gonna add a placeholder month last date minus I plus 1. And let's be sure to close the list item as well and add a semicolon at the end. So yeah, we will loop through the last dates of the previous month, and after that we gotta go ahead and create another for loop to add the dates of the current month. So for let I equals 1, and if the I is smaller or equal to the last date, then we will increment by 1. Then we will check if the current date is today. So let is today equals I is strictly equal to date dot get date. Alright. And then we'll check the month equals. Okay, I gotta remove that semicolon, by the way. Month equals strictly equals a new date with the get month method, and then the year. New date, and we will get full year. There we go. Then we gotta add a ternary operator, active, or an empty string. There we go. So yeah. Then we gotta do the lit, or get the lit variable and make it plus equals a template literal, and create another list item. So yeah, list item, the class will be equal. We are going to add a placeholder, and inside of this we'll say is today. So we will find out what day it is today. Then I'm gonna add that and the index of I, and then I'm gonna close this list item like that. Alright, there we go. So make sure that you don't have semicolons at the end of this. Alright, after this we're gonna go and loop to add the first dates of the next month. So we'll create a for loop once again. Let I equals day end. I, as long as it's larger than 6, we will increment. Then lit plus equals, let's use a template literal, I can't speak today. And then we will create a list item with the class of inactive, add a placeholder, and inside we'll add the index of I minus the day end plus 1. And be sure to close the list element here. Okay. So now we have the current date. We have looped through the first dates of the next month. And next we gotta update the text of the current date with the formatted current month and year. So let's take the variable core date right over from here. So cur date dot inner text will be equal to a template literal. We'll add a placeholder months at month, then the year. Alright, then we gotta update the HTML of the dates element with the generated calendar. So we'll take the day and the inner HTML, and make it equal to the lit variable. So yeah, so that's going to be it for the manipulate function. There's a few for loops and stuff like that. Then we are going to call the manipulate function like that. Then let's attach a click event listener to each one of the icons. So prenex icons dot for each icon we will do this. So when an icon is clicked, icon dot add event listener, we're listening for a click, and then we will do this. We will check if the icon if the icon is calendar previous or calendar next. So month equals icon.id if it's strictly equal to calendar prev. Then we add the ternary operator. If it's true, we'll say month minus 1, otherwise month plus 1. Then we'll check if the month is out of range. So if month is smaller than 0, or if month is larger than 11, we will then have to set the date to first day of the month with the new year. So to do that, we say date equals new date, use the year, month, and new date dot get date. Alright, then we set the year to the new year, so year equals date dot get full year, and we gotta set the month to be the same, so month equals date dot get month. Alright, then we'll add an else clause. So else, we will set the date to the current one, so date equals new date. Alright, then we gotta call the manipulate function to update the calendar display. So manipulate, there we go. And let's add semicolons over here as well. Alright. I gotta check out. We have an issue somewhere. So yeah, I'm gonna look for it, and I'm gonna show you what it is. Alright, so we have one problem at least. We gotta make these shortened into 3 letters. Like that. And then... Alright, so the project looks like this right now. I'm actually going to redo the JavaScript. So, let's let date equals new date. Now that is a simple one. Get the years. Date get full year. And let month equals date dot get month. There we go. Then we gotta create a constant of day. Document dot query selector. And we'll select the calendar dates. I'm gonna check out that it's the correct one. Calendar dates, yep. Okay. And then the date equals document dot query selector. We're gonna select the class of the calendar, navigation, and the span elements. So we are taking these ones in right now. And then we already have the array of months. I didn't delete that. Okay, let's create the function to generate the calendar once again. So yeah, const manipulate arrow function, and first we gotta get the first day of the month. So let day 1. It's going to be new date, year, month, and 1. And then use the get day method. Alright. Then we gotta take the last date of the month. Let last date equals new date, year, month, plus 1 and 0, and get date. There we go. Then we gotta take let day end. We gotta get the day of the last date of the month. So new date, and here we are going to put the year, the month, and then the variable last date, which is equal to the last date of the month. Okay, so this is going to equal the last day of the month, and use the get day method. Then we gotta do let month last date. Here we are going to get the last date from the previous month. So year, month, 0, and get date. Alright. Then let's create the lit variable. And then we gotta create some for loops once again. So the lit variable is gonna be a variable where we are going to store the generated HTML calendar. Then we gotta create a for loop. Let I equal to day 1. So this one. Semicolon. And when I is larger than 0, we will decrement. So we will loop to add the last dates of the previous month. So lit plus equals a template literal. So we will create, I'm gonna create this on a new line, a list item. The class will be inactive. Use a placeholder, month last date, -1 plus 1. Minus I, not 1. Minus the index I. Alright. And let's close the list element and add a semicolon. Then we got a loop to add the dates of the current month. So for let I equals 1 while I is smaller or equal to last date, we will increment. Alright, so let is today equals the index of I, and then we date.get date. Then we can also check the months. Get month and year. Get full year. Alright, let's use the ternary operator. If it's true, it's going to be active, and otherwise an empty string. Okay. Then we'll take the lit element I'm gonna add an indentation over here, so it's gonna be a little bit easier to read. Okay, so then lit plus equals a template literal, and we will create a list item class will be equal to the is today. Alright, then we add the index of I, and then we close this list item. Alright, then we got one more for loop to create to add the first dates of the next month. So for let I equals day end, when I is smaller than 6, we will increment. Then lit plus equals a template literal once again, a list item with the class of inactive, and then a placeholder index of I minus day end plus 1, and let's close this element. There we go. Alright, so yeah. Then we have to, of course, take the car date, this variable, and then we are going to have to update the text and all this stuff over there. So cur date dot inner text equals a template literal, so months at month and years. There we go. Then day inner HTML is going to be the variable lit. Alright, then we call the function manipulate. Let's check we added a name. Yes, we did. Okay. Okay, then we gotta take the icons. Prenex icons dot add event listener for a click, and then arrow function. So we gotta check which button it is. Month equals icon.id is strictly equal to calendar previous, or prev for short. Add a ternary operator, month minus 1, month plus 1. Alright, then if month is smaller than 0 and month is larger than 11, we will set the date of the first day of the month with the new year. So date equals new date. We need the year, the month, and new date dot get date. Okay, there's still nothing, but that's okay. We gotta take the year, we gotta set it to be date dot get full year. Then month equals date dot get month. There we go. And then else date equals new date. So we will set the date to the current date, and then we call the manipulate function. Okay, I made a small little mistake. This needs to be for the icon, the event listener. Alright, so I'm gonna indentate these all by 1, and over here we will take the pre-next icons, use the for each method, icon and an arrow function, and then I'm gonna cut all this inside of here. There we go. And at the end of this one we gotta call the manipulate function. Alright. Now I hope this is going to work, alright? No, it just doesn't work. Alright, well, I wasn't actually able to get this working now. I don't know what is wrong with this. Could not find name years. Oh, yeah. Oh, that was the problem. Oh my gosh. I had one extra S over here. Alright, I already thought that I'm not gonna be able to finish this. Okay, our months are a little bit messed up, and the styling as well. So let's go over here. I'm also going to go to DevTools. So let's take the nope. I gotta find out. I gotta find this styling for the button. Okay, the calendar navigations at least have some kind of issues. So we're gonna go ahead and fix them. Alright, I think I found the issue, so right over here we can adjust the location of that text. So if I set it to be 0, it's gonna be over there. Also my buttons are gonna move with this, but anyways, I am going to let this be. I have been working on this for a long time, so yeah. Sometimes the projects, they don't go too well, and this was one of them, so yeah. Anyways, I hope somebody was able to learn something new from this one. And yeah, I hope to see you in the next one. So yeah, have a wonderful day everybody, and bye bye.